Alright boys, we have a first look at PALWORLD's biggest content drop yet, the Sakurajima update, and I'm not gonna lie, this is the type of content drop that I've been waiting for, something that really lets you sink your teeth in. We've got a new island, new raids, tons of pals, PvP arena, new loot, level cap, and best of all, it all drops really soon on June 27th. Now first things first, we get to play on this brand new island, and I'm gonna assume it's called the Sakurajima Island, with lots of historical Japanese architecture and other Japan-inspired themes going on, and we've seen quite a bunch of stuff in here too, but specifically also a couple of new biomes. So one features cherry blossom trees and the other looks like what you get when the Smurfs decide to move to the swamps. Murky water, large mushrooms, and also some new fauna. And speaking of the new fauna, there are about at least a dozen or so new pals, both completely new ones, but also more subspecies. And a lot of them actually come with some brand new unique skills. So starting with the ones I thought looked the coolest, we have this new rideable K9 mount. At the start of the trailer, we can see both on the pillars as well as one as a companion, so something that we can get. Also this armored knight, which I'm going to call Radan for no reason, uses some kind of oversized chakram as a weapon and appears to be of neutral type. Could be a Palladius situation here, melee with high defenses, but maybe some other spells too. Also this new Ghost Flame Pal, which kind of looks like a combo between Duskull and Ghastly, but I'm all up for, looks really awesome. Another Darkness type Pal that spawns during certain times of day, maybe during the night, but we shall see. Also a big surprise is the Mimic Pal. So this can or seems to spawn either at the end of dungeons or very close to regular treasure chests, which is going to make things a lot more interesting. It also seems to be capturable, so I do wonder what's this going to do in battle. Besides this, we've seen this oversized Mewtwo that seems to be hitting the gym. I'm not sure exactly what counterpart there is in Pokemon, but let me know down below in the comments if there's anything similar. And we've seen a couple of them in the swamp area, so this frog enemy as well as the dancing mushrooms. At least the frog pal seems to use a new type of water attack that does seem to also cause some AoE explosions. And then the dancing mushroom seems to use a version of the dark laser. And finally, at the 35-second mark, we've seen a new bird type pal, some kind of peacock, but yeah, it does seem quite interesting. And besides this, as I've said, we have at least half a dozen of new subspecies, and a lot of them have been data mined before. Plus, from the trailer, we can see that a few of them feature some brand new skills. So we know about Grillet/Chillet Ignis. We also have some extended gameplay of it in the recent Pal deck video, and we can see some of its fire breath attacks against the player. Then we've seen a nature version of Quivern, so this comes with some new AoE Thorns attacks, and at the 1 minute mark we can see it in a better detail, so definitely covers quite a bit of AoE. Also Ketris Ignis and Wixen Noct have been data mined a couple of months ago. It seems that they are also part of the new update and they might have some brand new skills in there too. Also Bushi Noct, we've seen it in some of the new Japanese locations. Of course, a darkness version of the already existing Bushi. There should be at least a few more sub-variants coming as well if the data mines are going to all be implemented. So we know of Electric Hellzephyr, also Earth Elemental Gorirat, and some as well for the War Sect and the Mana Sting, but these might come in at a later date. Now moving on to base building, we get a bunch of exciting upgrades here too. So we're finally getting sulfur and coal mining pits, as we can see from the trailer shots. Say hello to easy gunpowder from now on, so you don't have to create bases in different spots any longer for these specific two resources. This also leads me to believe that we might be moving to another even higher end resource, which seems to coincide with some of these oil rigs that we get to invade, plus of course the level cap increase that we're going to check in just a little bit. But before that, we can see PAL viewing cages in the background also suffered a bunch of small updates, so they are less see-through, which might help a bit with performance. Also this new device type, maybe some kind of forge, or maybe I'm missing something over here, but it definitely seems to be something that can be used in the higher end processing that we might get. Now, of course, all of this is needed because it looks like the level cap also gets an increase. No official word on what the max level is going to be in the new update, but it's likely going to be closer to 60. And besides just getting some more stats, there are some fresh new technologies in here to unlock too, which also includes a brand new armor set as well as a bunch of weapons. So starting with the weapons, I counted at least 5 of them. So this includes a minigun that we can use, Also, a couple of flamethrowers I've seen. There's also energy rifles we can finally get and obviously shoot enemies with. Grenade launchers are also on the list, and finally we've seen a new type of rocket launcher. Also, this higher new tech, higher level armor set definitely seems quite nice. I think we're getting closer and closer to cosplaying as Power Rangers at this point. It is possible, though not confirmed yet, that many of these might require some new elements to craft this, which might bring us to some of the new endgame content, so let's check that out. So there are 3 major new things they're going to be doing in the endgame of Palworld. This includes a new raid, a stronghold, and finally a new faction plus boss. Starting with the raid, this is the second one we're getting after the Bella Noir one from a couple of months ago, and Datamines calls the new boss Blazimuth Draco. The name implies it has double affinity once again, so it could be both fire and dragon or fire and darkness, which would imply it's a very strong pal to have nonetheless. So we could have a similar situation with a passive such as the Siren of the Void, but the equivalent of that here, buffing both its affinities by 20%. If it's anything like the other raid we got, also prepare yourselves accordingly because they are some of the most challenging things you'll be doing in this game. Besides this, another endgame activity we get is the Stronghold Oil Rig, and this seems to be more PvE oriented, so I don't think there's any PvP going on over here. We can see high level mobs, high level pals, enemies, and maybe possible new resources. Again, just speculating here for now, maybe this explains how we get some of the new resources, well, between the Stronghold and the raid that is. Last but not least, a final new endgame activity is going to be the faction/new faction boss, and specifically Datamines from a while ago internally named this new boss the Moon Queen. Now, of course, this can be subject to change, and just like in the case of the previous spells, they obviously will have their own names once the update releases, but this seems to be another dark type sort of encounter. So we do have quite a bunch of those at this point. I do wonder if eventually we're gonna branch out to other types of boss encounters, but yeah, this seems to get, according to the data mines, some points into handiwork and transportation, though that might be again subject to change. Another very exciting feature is also the new PvP arena mode. So this is going to be a 3 versus 3 pal battle, as in 2 players will get to choose up to 3 pals to accompany them in battle and fight against each others. It also seems that players will actually actively participate in this, so it's not just pinning your AI companions against others AI companions, you also get to participate in that too. So this is what I find most interesting. Of course, we don't know what rewards we get, we don't know if there's any scores to take into account, and also we don't know exactly yet how the company will handle cheating, as quite a lot of pals have been bred through cheating, at least up until a certain point when they kind of disabled a bit of that. But I'm not really up to date with how things are now in Palworld, so I would love to know down below. But I do wonder if this is something buildable inside our base, or is it a special location that we have to visit? Because if it's a buildable structure in the base, that just makes it 100% cooler, because now you get a Colosseum that you can place right in the middle of the town square, or just create some more awesome looking bases. Anyway, on a final note, the final thing added is going to obviously be dedicated servers for the Xbox. So infrastructure will actually be handled by Tencent Cloud, which is a subsidiary, I guess, of Tencent, which is a massive company. Tencent Cloud actually claims, with the PR Times reporting, that Palworld players will be able to create dedicated servers in just 3 seconds, which is actually quite amazing. Tencent Cloud operation will also be expanding beyond Japan to US regions and South Korea, Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore at some point soon, but it doesn't really mention anything about Europe, so I'm not sure exactly how that's going to pan out. Plus, we also know that Microsoft was helping out a little bit too over here with implementing those dedicated servers. At least that was the news around launch. But let me know down below, what do you think about the new update? Do you find any features exciting? Are you going to jump back in? I'm definitely going to do so, because there are some things I wanted here since day one, and personally, I'm very excited for some of the new pals in there. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.